Hello everybody, what is up? My name is Gabrielle Moses and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm gonna help those hopeless romantics or those people stuck in a really bad freaking relationship. Trust me, I've been there for both things. Today, we're gonna do a little bit of dating advice because you know what? That's how this channel started. So why not run it back a little bit and talk about red flags? You know what? You might find out that you yourself have some red flags, or maybe the person you have a crush on or are even dating has too many red flags to ignore and you gotta hit the road, you know? Hopefully that's not the case, but that's what we're gonna be talking about today. But before we get started, guys, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe, and make sure your video notifications are on, because for some reason, video notifications have been getting turned off. What the heck, YouTube? What the hell? That's not cool. Also, if you don't think you see my face enough, follow me on my other social media platforms. I will link everything down below, but it's pretty much at Gabrielle_Moses on everything. We keep it the same. But okay, let's just jump right into this because listen, I've been that hopeless romantic. I've also been that person stuck in really shitty relationships. And I'm here to keep it real with you guys, no matter if what I say you might judge or you might not agree with what I say. I will give you the brutal truth that you might need to hear. And these are all red flags that I have personally dealt with and red flags that I've literally figured out on my own that cannot be freaking ignored. So let's just jump right into it with the first one being love bombing. If you don't know what love bombing is, it usually happens at like the very beginning of a relationship. You still might be in the talking phase, but it's when someone just like does the most. You might think, oh my God, they're so amazing. They're buying me dinner. They might be buying me some clothing. They're just like the absolute best. Bring me sandwiches and lunch when I'm not even asking for it. Well, here's the thing. People love bomb to literally get your interest peak and to start, reeling you in bit by bit. You don't always have to be the perfect person in a relationship, especially at the beginning. That's when you're figuring out the goods, the bads about someone. You don't have to go over the top with everything. It's okay to be excited about a new relationship, but there's no need to constantly be shoving gifts and things, especially, down someone's throat. There's just no need for that. Over the top affection way too early on, red flag. Next one. This is gonna have to do more with, emotional red flags, and that's the victim mentality. This, you might have to have a few months with that person to really start seeing this red flag, but trust me, once you see it, it does not go away. This is when someone can never take accountability. They can't say that they were wrong, ever. Even though you have proof that they are wrong. They'll be like, no, but it's actually your fault. So one really good example of victim mentality is, let's just say you're talking to someone and something happens and you get upset and you physically show that you're upset. Verbally you say it and they go, I can't believe you're upset about that. This always happens to me. People always are turning against me, no matter how hard I try. Everyone always turns against me. This isn't my fault that you feel this way. Like, I guess I'm just not good enough. That is the perfect example of like a victim mentality in a relationship. They're always saying, I guess I'm not good enough, or this is always happening to me. They can never take the accountability for something going wrong themselves. Usually they'll paint themselves as like helpless or blameless, or they'll literally try and manipulate your emotions into like making you feel like it's actually your fault that they're acting a certain way. And that's what's really dangerous about dating someone or being with someone, was that victim mentality. You're gonna always feel like no matter what you do, somehow you're the one that's messing up. So big old emotional red flag. I feel like this red flag is like an obvious, and that's if they still associate with their ex. I've said this once, said it twice, maybe even a million times. People break up for a reason. I don't think it's healthy if someone stays friends with their ex. Yes, it's different if they have pets together, if they have a child together, especially, like I hope, co-parenting works out. But if you're just dating casually or talking casually, it's a little bit unhealthy to continue to be besties with your ex and, you know, hang out with your ex, especially when you're trying to move on and explore new things. I feel like I don't need to explain this one anymore because, you know, I'd say it's pretty close to common sense, but for some people it's not. Red flag number 4. This one's a little bit more subtle and it might not be that big of a deal, but I feel like it's a very telling thing about a person, and that's how they treat people who work in the service industry and how they treat animals that are not theirs. I know you might be thinking, Gab, you're kind of crazy for saying this one, but if someone's rude to like a waiter or someone who works at like the bank or something like that, I feel like it tells a lot about a person, like what they value and what they don't, or if they think they're better than other people. And as for with the animals, it just kind of shows the kindness of a person's heart. If they can't be nice to like an animal walking down the street, like say you see a lost puppy and they're like, ew, don't touch it, disgusting, you'll get fleas or maybe you'll get rabies. You know what? You might want to start backing away. Maybe it's just because I have a lot of animals right there. If you can't be nice to an animal or a service worker, red flag. And while we're talking about animals, I want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, which is Maeve Dog Food. It is the very first and only human grade protein rich raw dog food. It has some awesome ingredients and my dogs are literally circling around me right now because I got their treats out. So we're gonna give them a quick treat. This right here is the human grade freeze dried treat for dogs. It is beef liver. Watch this, they're gonna go absolutely crazy about it. I'm big with what I feed my dogs because it impacts their mood, their behavior, their health. If you give them stuff with really good ingredients, I promise, not only is their fur gonna look good, they're gonna be excited, they're gonna be happy, but it just overall impacts them. Like, let's be honest, you wouldn't eat fast food every day, so why would you give a dog the equivalent of that fast food? See, they literally sit, they love it so, so much. Here you go, Josie. Up, sit. There you go. You may as well take care of your dogs and give them the best that you can. I love my dogs, they're like my kiddos, so that's why I always give them Maeve as fresh ingredients that you can literally see with your own eyes. So if you want to give a little one up to your dogs, improve their food a little bit, definitely go check out Maeve, and if you use my code, you'll get 20% off your first order. Now let's go get back let's get back into those red flags. Next red flag. This one is a behavioral red flag. Sometimes a lot of people do this without even realizing it, but it's controlling tendencies. If they're telling you, no, you can't hang out with your friend, that friend. I don't like that specific friend of yours, or you're wearing that to go out. Just controlling different aspects of your life. It starts slowly. Trust me when I say that. And then you'll look back at your relationship once it ends and be like, oh my gosh. They were telling me who I could hang out with, when I could leave the house, what I could wear, who I could talk to, what I could post. And it usually starts out so small. Trust me. And then over time, it just grows and grows and grows. And it's like, oh, but you're gonna wear that out? Like, might be something subtle, like make sure you have, I don't know, like shorts on underneath that skirt. It looks pretty short. But I'm saying all this because I care. That's how they'll cover up controlling behaviors, because I care is why I'm telling you this. I knew they weren't gonna be a good friend, or I just don't think that's a good idea because you have to think about the bigger picture. I don't know, stuff like that. Controlling behaviors start small, but it gets really big over time. And that's a red flag that a lot of girls miss because they see it as caring, or it's disguised as caring. I'd say guys are better at hiding that it's controlling. Girls will be straight up like, no, I'm crazy, don't talk to that girl. I'm crazy, don't go out without me. That's how girls will be controlling. Guys do it in more subtle ways. I forget what number we're on right now, but the next red flag is if they always say something bad about their exes. Like they never once have said anything good. They might even have multiple exes where they say each ex is crazy for a different reason. It's just not healthy, because if they're constantly talking trash about like their past relationships, if something is happening in your own relationship, you might not even be broken up. What are they saying to their friends? I get both sides of this. Yes, you might need to vent with your friends, whatever, totally understandable. But like, what if you end up being that crazy ex that has done so many crazy things or whatever? It's just not normal to hate your ex. Like, I don't hate all of my exes. It's not healthy. Like, if they're a good person, you're obviously not gonna hate them. They just might not be the person for you. And it's easy to say that. It's easy to be like, yeah, no, they just weren't for me, so we broke up. Again, self-explanatory. If they're always saying something bad, imagine what they would say about you. I don't know how to say this next one because it might offend some people. So we're just gonna say it. A lack of respect when you're disagreeing. Say if you get into an argument, not even an argument, a discussion where you don't completely agree with the other person. This could be something small like how you're spending your summer vacation, or something bigger like, say if you were gonna have kids eventually and you're just talking like hypothetical, like what religion would they be raised as, or more serious things like that. If your partner can't respect you enough to just have a calm conversation and hear you out, instead they might bring stuff up against you, or they might like mock you or kind of give you like the silent treatment if you don't 100% agree with them. Obvious red flag, because I personally believe, and like I've been through relationships and stuff where we did not always agree on everything, but when we got through those disagreements and we sat down and had conversations about where we felt uncomfortable or where we think it's okay to not have the same beliefs, or how can we build together as a couple even though we might disagree about something, that's when a relationship strengthens. You can agree to disagree. You don't always have to agree with someone in a relationship. It's okay not to 100% agree with everything that your partner does, but it's good to be able to communicate and to talk about it. They can't just get defensive or have name calling or just get petty if you don't always agree with them. And I guess this one kind of goes with that last one that I said, but avoiding hard conversations. I will 100% tell you guys right now, I am queen of avoiding things. I hate confrontation because like from every single relationship I've ever been in, not every single one, but like really big disagreements or like really big confrontations have just always given me like a really bad taste in my mouth. Like I have a really hard time confronting people. It's like literally something I've talked about in therapy so many times because of what like I've had to dealt with in my past. So that's something I really work on, is avoiding confrontation, avoiding hard conversations. But here's the thing, you can't always bottle everything up. It might be the easy way out, but like, are you just suffering in silence then? Or if you're avoiding these hard conversations, like, oh, we'll talk about it later. Imagine your partner wants to move in with you. That's a big deal, but you're too scared to say no, or you're too scared to bring it up and be like, I think we should move in together. You need to break the ice, have that hard conversation. And if you disagree, it's okay. Maybe you go your separate paths. Maybe there is a breakup, but it's better than staying silent and being miserable, you know? So maybe that's my own red flag. But no, for real, if they do avoid hard conversations and you can't have a serious sit-down conversation with them, that is a red flag too, because what's a relationship if you can't talk about the nitty-gritty things, you know? Okay, another red flag for the people who have been through traumatic relationships before. This one may have saved you if you're in a bad relationship and you see it afterwards. But if you ever, after hanging out with them, you feel anxious or just emotionally drained, that's not normal. You should always be excited to like say goodbye, and you can't wait to see your partner or boyfriend or your girlfriend later. You shouldn't leave them and being like, oh my God, I'm walking on eggshells all the freaking time. That's not normal. That's not healthy. You should always feel stable, safe, loved and respected in a relationship. If you're constantly walking away being like, oh my gosh, what thing could I have possibly said wrong? What thing could I have messed up on? What can I do now to avoid them having an outburst? Red flag. Again, I feel like that one's very self-explanatory. You should be with someone and always feel fulfilled, not drained and anxious and like you're walking on eggshells. You might be with the wrong person if that's occurring, and you might need to have a hard conversation. With today's day and age, this one hits really freaking hard. Social media them versus in real life them. Are they pretending to be one person on social media, but then in real life, are they completely different? You know what? Never knew anyone like that before. Anyways, yeah, if they're acting like one person online, like a way better version of themselves, and then in real life they're just not as good, or their life is completely different than what they portray, run. Just run. I have nothing else to say other than if you know there's two separate lives and people can't relate to one thing because all they see is what they see is online, run for the hills, run fast, be like Lightning McQueen. Yeah, those types of relationships are really hard because people might think everything's perfect, or people might think that person is completely different than what they are. They might think they walk on water, but then in real life they might not be as good of a person, and they might believe in different things different. Like, I've known people who lie to the end on social media. They might even lie about stuff as stupid as like what they believe in. If you believe in something, I mean, you don't have to talk about it on social media, but don't like outright say one thing and then in your personal life do something completely different. Or don't treat different people different ways online so that you get praised more versus in real life if you treat the people you care about like crap. Anyways, guys, that was that. I hope you enjoyed this little red flags video. Let me know if you guys need some more dating advice, or if you want to hear some of my dating horror stories, because unfortunately we have some new horror stories turning about. That's why I haven't been posting on here as much, or I took a little bit of a break all of June. But you know what? Sometimes it's better just to talk about it. So let me know what you guys want to see next, and I hope you enjoyed. Definitely check out Maeve if you guys do have a dog and you want to give them some amazing food. That'll be linked down below in the description. But I will see you in the next one.